François-Marie Arouet, better known by his pen name Voltaire, was born on November 21, 1694, in Paris, France. He was the youngest of 5 children in a middle-class family. His father, François Arouet, was a notary and treasury official, while his mother, Marie Marguerite Daumard, came from a noble family. Voltaire received his early education at the Jesuit school college Louis-le-Grand, where he excelled in literature and rhetoric. From an early age, he displayed a sharp wit and a rebellious nature, which often put him at odds with authority figures. Voltaire's family wanted him to pursue a legal career, but he was drawn to literature and philosophy. As a young man, he became known in Parisian society for his wit and poetic talent. However, his outspoken criticism of the government and the Catholic Church led to frequent conflicts with authorities. In 1717, he was imprisoned in the Bastille for 11 months due to his satirical writings about the French monarchy. Despite this, he continued to challenge authority throughout his life, often using humor and irony to expose hypocrisy and injustice. Throughout his life, Voltaire had many influential acquaintances, including Frederick the Great of Prussia, with whom he had a complex relationship. He also lived in England for a time, where the ideas of John Locke and Isaac Newton had a profound influence on him. Later, he settled in Ferney, near the Swiss border, where he spent the last 2 decades of his life producing some of his most famous works. He died on May 30, 1778, in Paris at the age of 83. Main works. Voltaire was an incredibly prolific writer. He produced works in multiple genres, including plays, poems, novels, essays, and historical studies. His writings frequently explored themes of freedom, reason, and social justice. One of his most famous works is Candide, 1759, a satirical novel that criticizes blind optimism and religious hypocrisy. The protagonist, Candide, embarks on a journey filled with absurd misfortunes and ultimately concludes that one must cultivate one's garden, symbolizing personal responsibility and pragmatism. Another significant work is Letters on the English, 1734, which praises religious tolerance, political freedom, and scientific advancements in England while implicitly criticizing French institutions. Although the book was banned in France, it gained Voltaire international recognition as a sharp and fearless thinker. Voltaire also wrote The Philosophical Dictionary, 1764, an encyclopedic work that challenged dogma and superstition. This book exemplified his belief in reason and free thought, making him a significant figure of the Enlightenment. His historical writings include The Age of Louis XIV, 1751, which detailed and admired the Sun King's reign, and Essay on the Customs and the Spirit of the Nations, 1756, which compared different civilizations and promoted cultural relativism. Voltaire also contributed to the cause of justice through his writings. He intervened in the cases of Jean Calas and the Chevalier de la Barre, advocating against religious intolerance and wrongful executions. His treatise on tolerance, 1763, was written in response to the Calas affair, urging society to embrace religious freedom and rational thinking. Anecdotes and controversies. Voltaire's life was filled with fascinating anecdotes that showcase his wit, courage, and defiance of authority. In his later years, Voltaire returned to Paris in triumph after decades of exile. When he attended a performance of his play Irene in 1778, the audience erupted in applause, hailing him as a champion of reason and progress. Overwhelmed by the reception, he reportedly said, "I die adoring God, loving my friends, not hating my enemies, and detesting superstition." His return to Paris marked a symbolic victory for his Enlightenment ideals. Voltaire was a highly controversial figure during his lifetime, often clashing with the Catholic Church, the monarchy, and even fellow philosophers. His sharp criticism of religious institutions and his advocacy for free thought made him a target of censorship and persecution. One major controversy involved his Letters on the English, which was banned in France for its perceived attacks on French institutions. The book's praise of English political and religious freedoms was seen as a direct challenge to French absolutism and Catholic orthodoxy. His work, Candide, was also condemned for its satirical treatment of religion, war, and government. While it is now regarded as one of the greatest philosophical novels, at the time, it was viewed as scandalous and subversive. Despite his advocacy for justice and equality, Voltaire's views on race and slavery have drawn criticism. While he opposed the slave trade in some of his writings, he also made derogatory remarks about certain ethnic groups, reflecting the prejudices of his time. Modern scholars debate how to reconcile these contradictions in his thought. Conclusion: Voltaire's relentless pursuit of reason and justice made him one of the most influential figures of Enlightenment. He was a versatile and prolific writer, producing works in almost every literary form, including plays, poems, novels, essays, histories, and even scientific expositions. He was also an outspoken advocate of civil liberties and was constantly at risk from the strict censorship laws of the Catholic French monarchy. His legacy continues to inspire debates on free speech, human rights, and the power of satire in challenging authority.